Alright, so today we're going to be showing you how to replace the contacts in the plunger out of your Nippon Denso starter. It's common on Chrysler vehicles, Hondas, Toyotas, things like that. I got my replacement parts from these guys. It was cheap, it's 35 bucks for both the contacts and the new plunger. It's aftermarket, it's not original Denso parts, but it was cheap, so go ahead and give them a call. Alright, the first step is obviously find your starter. It'll be different on any vehicle. This is a 99 Accord 4-cylinder manual, so that's where it is on this car, but you're going to have to find it wherever it is. On this car we need to take the battery tray out, and maybe move this radiator. Once you got it out, then we'll know what to do. Alright, so once you have access to your starter, there's 2 bolts on this particular one. I'm not sure if it's the same for all of them. You may or may not have had to remove your battery tray. We did, but if not, make sure that you disconnect your battery before you start fiddling with these big terminals here, because if not, you will get a nice, well, it'll be shocking, I'll tell you that. So yeah, don't mess with those. Alright, so next step is disconnect your battery, and then you want to disconnect the 2 terminals on your starter. Alright, so this one has one big positive one, and then the ground, there's no negative one, it just grounds to the motor. There's also this small plug here, which goes to that little doohickey right there, so make sure you remember to disconnect that. Alright, so now that you got the big post, that little wire, and as far as I know everything else is disconnected from the motor, you're ready to go ahead and pull off that big 14 and that one there, and then your starter should slide out. Alright, so there's one large bolt that goes all the way through the bottom, and that goes into the engine block, and then the starter should pop right out. Just like that. Simple as that. So there's what you're looking at. That slides onto your onto the main the flywheel, and then that's what you got. So now I'll take her in the garage and show you what to do next. Alright, so here's your starter. Here's the parts that we're putting on. There's the parts that we're putting on, and these parts go inside of this cover here. So go ahead and pop those off. Go ahead and pop that cover off. There should be a gasket behind it, so just be careful not to tear it. You don't need to replace it. Alright, so behind that cover,
there's the gasket.
It's a rubber gasket, so it shouldn't really tear too easily. And there you can see your plunger and the 2 contacts. Go ahead and remove the negative terminal from the starter assembly. Okay, so this is kind of rusty and stuff, so we got some penetrating oil on that. In the meantime, you can go ahead and pull your plunger out. Don't lose the spring. Sometimes it'll stay with the rod, sometimes no. But you can sort of see the step that's worn into it, and also the step that's worn into the contacts. These aren't stepped too much, but there's corrosion on them, which is probably what was causing the issues. So if you want, you could probably just sand the corrosion off, and you'll be good to go. But if you already got the parts, you might want to just throw them in there, so you got nice shiny new stuff. So that's up to you. Alright, so we finally got this doohickey off. If you have problems with the nut spinning with the bolt, just get a 13mm or a 1/2 inch, and that'll go right on there. And now you're ready to take off that bolt right there, or that nut, I'm sorry, and that should be 14, and do the same on the other side, and then these posts will come out and you'll be able to get the contacts out. Okay, so this is the order of all those parts that come off. There's like, you got your contact, a bolt, an insulator, an O-ring, and a piece of paper, and then this special shaped washer. Right between this washer and that O-ring is the actual frame of your starter. So if you forget how it all goes together, that's how. The side with the bigger contact, which is the constant powered side, is kind of pressed onto there, so it might be kind of hard to get it off. It might be kind of hard to get it on, but once you press it on and it's flush, then you're ready to reinstall it. So once you got one new contact in, go ahead and repeat the process on the other side. Alright, so once you get that post off, there's this insulator, there's a sort of hexagonal washer, or actually that might be a nut, but either way, then it goes all the way through. You got your this little contact plate with the wire that goes into the motor, and then your actual contact, and then another insulator next to the case. Okay, that O-ring goes on, I forgot to say it, it goes on the outside there, and then you can go ahead and slide that black plastic insulator on, and that kind of slides over the O-ring and creates a nice little snap or sort of dealy. And the washer, and then that one nut. Alright, so now that you got those two contacts in, you can put in your new plunger. Don't oil this or grease this at all. You might want to put a little bit on that skinny shaft, but not on the big part. It'll get stuck. And you probably want to clean out the inside of the casing here. Just don't forget the spring, and you can go ahead and slide the whole system down into there, and that's your starter system. When that gets engaged, it pushes the starter gear out. See? You can go ahead and put your cover back on with those 3 screws. Make sure you remember the O-ring. And then just tighten those down, not too tight because they're small threads, so they'll strip easy. Plus they go into aluminum. And if you want to be Billy Fancy Pants, you can go ahead and clean off the contact there and clean off the nut. And then also you can put some electrical grease just to prevent any future corrosion if you have to take it apart again. But this repair should last you just as long as it lasted from the factory. So another 100, in our case 140,000 miles. Alright, so then you can go ahead and slide your starter back into the bell housing there, and get your bolts and slide them into the dealie. If you want to get bonus points, you can put AACs on. Alright, then go ahead and tighten up the 2 bolts. There's 14 on top. That one's already been tightened. Switch it, yeah. And then the bottom one's a 17 that goes all the way to the motor. And we're tightening that up now. Then you connect this little plug right here. That's kind of difficult. I'll get to it. And then also your main power in goes right on that post there. Right, then you just you slide that rubber cover over the post so that it doesn't get all corroded and stuff. And unless you have other stuff that you took off, like in my case the battery and the battery tray, you're ready to reconnect your battery, and it should start up. So I'm just going to hook up all these auxiliaries and then we'll see what happens.
Garage door.
That would be awesome. Alright, so now that we got everything put back together, let's go inside the car and see if it starts up. Should work. Looks like a job well done.